And then I said to you, well, if the Rolling Stones define raunch, and I mean that with a smile on my face, right? You write Paint It Black and Sympathy for the Devil, there's something going on. So tell me, you wrote, so the listeners know, our team sends out a form called a brand personification sheet. There's 15 questions, and they are everything from what's your favorite color to your favorite food to, what's your favorite performing artist or band. Everyone that's been on the show fills these out because that's an easy way for us to personify the brand and keep this idea of banding, branding, and business building creatively tied together. And on your response here about favorite band or music artist, you put down the Rolling Stones. And then I said to you, well, if the Rolling Stones define raunch, and I mean that with a smile on my face, right? You write Paint It Black and Sympathy for the Devil, there's something going on.
They seem to sing a lot about taboos.
Exactly.
Early on.
That's why they have a big red tongue. Hell yeah. Working with you as the CEO of Progressive Flooring and Services, it was great to see that. And then I asked you about some other bands, and you said AC/DC, and then you said The Who. You did this unbelievable description that you wrote back to me about the first time you were listening to one of my favorite records of all time, Genius, after Bon Scott died, from AC/DC, Back in Black. I love the artwork. I had never seen it embossed. I mean, Black Sabbath had done a lot of dark things, but I'd never seen it embossed black on black. And just the mournful, energetic Hell's Bells. I mean, the whole thing. And Back in Black itself, right? With that big bell, the toll bell. But you wrote me a vivid paragraph that you have similar memories of this record.
I used to listen to that particular album a lot. And my father had refinished Half Our Basement. And part of that was a special little nook that he created. This is in the late 70s, to where mounted all his stereo equipment in the wall. The wall was covered with dark brown shag carpeting.
Because it absorbs sound, right?
Well, yes, and then that was just kind of what you're doing in your van or whatever. It just seemed you're putting shag carpeting on everything.
Exactly.
So, I mean, he had Sansui 9090 receiver and a dual turntable and, Bose 901 speaker. So, I mean, it was awesome. You could just lay there on the couch and, crank it up. And the only thing that I was not to do was to mess around with his reel-to-reel.
And I said back to you in an email, if the Stones are raunchy and AC/DC has energy and The Who, Townsend has quite the intellect, do you see that reflected in any way that you lead the brand, these kind of things?
Well, one of our other core values is relentless service. And I think all those bands, especially the Rolling Stones, I mean, how can you argue their endurance? And that's, I can only hope we're, as enduring as they are.
I think Keith Richards would appreciate that because, they still get called the world's greatest rock and roll band. I've heard a couple interviews of Keith's where he'll say humbly, well, it depends who you ask or whenever, but everyone always comes back and says, yeah, but you're still here. You're still around. So I guess we have to name you that because you're the last man standing at the party.